Hey there, welcome to Terrorland Soap Opera. I'm going to set the phone down here for a minute because I don't have a tripod. I'm away from home. But I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Capricorn energy. And the top row is going to be people who harness high vibe Capricorn energy. High vibe Capricorn energy is people who've done some work within themselves to free themselves from some of their more shadowy nature, their fear, their insecurity, their more immature, indulgent, lazy, or self-centered, or materialistic view of life, or self-limiting beliefs to love themselves. And then it's kind of interesting there that I'm going to pick up the camera for you in a minute to show you the cards. But it showed that we always have to be careful because there's always, our own shadow nature is always trying to tempt us to love it instead of loving ourselves. Love your fear and your insecurity. It'll keep you safe. Love your indulgent, immature way. You'll be happy. And then there's other people in the world who represent that in the world who want us to be that way so they can indulge in a relationship. So you might have some people coming towards you, trying to tempt you, or your own shadow nature, trying to emotionally tempt you to not love and believe in yourself and to give in to your shadow nature. Okay, I'm going to show you the cards here in a minute. In the top row, we have the Queen of Cups, the Six of Cups, which talks about, and the reason for your reading is the Ten of Cups. You could have been in a relationship with a Pisces, or there was just people in your life that you thought you would have a long-term emotionally fulfilling relationship with, or they're just people in your family. But you're offering love to the situation so that you can reconcile yourself with the past and see the truth that maybe a reason that you haven't moved forward in your life in the way that you wanted was because, we need to deal with the emotional regrets of the past so that we can let it go and accept that everyone was where they were at and that, hopefully everybody was just doing the best that they could do. So this is you. The reason the reading came out was the Ten of Cups. It's also the reason why it came out here. That you used to maybe love a way of viewing the world and how you used to view relationships and then people in your life that you loved. But in order to move forward in your life, you're needing to offer love to what was, because we go from the 10 down to the 6. So there's a 4 of Cups at play, which this is what the 4 of Cups look like. There could have been people in your life, in your friendship group, whatever, that you had offered love to, but they could have turned their back to you. And why do people do that? Well, we could do tarot forever to figure out that. People have the free will choice to be open and authentic and loving. And then the reason why they don't, the reason for people's shadow energy is huge and vast, So what we do is we just say, you know what? I don't know. The truth is, they must have some regrets in their past that they haven't dealt with that makes them turn their back on working together with people in the energy of love. So we don't have to know why they do what they do. We just know at this point in time, they're focused either on their own relationships of the past that didn't work out, their own sadness and whatever that makes them right now reject love. And so we offer love to the situation because love is what helps us heal. And we get ourselves, the 6s in tarot can talk about getting yourself emotionally balanced. Kind of like offering love to your fears and, getting up in your head about it to stay balanced within yourself. And then we have this card, the 6 of Wands. Well, for one, you could realize that something you thought was going to move forward in a victory isn't going to move forward in a victory because some people still haven't dealt with their own issues of the past that could make them not accept your love offer. You might think some people are more harnessing this energy in a shadowy way. Shadowy Leo energy can be people who are kind of more prideful or egotistical, maybe more aligned with their worldly nature, and they think that's what will make them happy. You know, we all go through these experiences in life, and we have to learn lessons in life, and we either learn to love ourselves, or in our shadow nature, it's kind of being more codependent. Instead of doing the work inside ourselves, we look outside of ourselves. Is this going to make me happy? Is this going to make me happy? You know, drugs, booze, gambling, sex, a relationship, you know, and they don't ever do the inner work to love themselves, to free themselves from the past and move forward victoriously, because we've all probably had disappointments in our past that things didn't work out the way we wanted. You know, some people were kind of prideful or egotistical or bossy or controlling or, you know, not truthful, not honest, immature, whatever. Well, how do we move forward from that? We offer love and we reconcile ourselves with it, that wouldn't everybody move forward in love if they saw the truth? That the way they're living their life is probably going to bring them nothing but sadness and regret. But some people just don't want to do love because they feel they could get hurt doing that. I'm not doing love. I'd rather be in relationships where it's more about me being in my ego and emotionally defensive and protecting myself from being hurt. So I'll let more my egoic nature run my life. I keep my more authentic, vulnerable nature hidden within inside. And then I won't get hurt. Of course, I think they're hurting themselves every day. But anyway, and there could have just been people in your life that are dealing with some sadness and grief in their life right now, that they need to work on that and pay attention to something going on in their life, and they're not able to move forward with you right now. And that could make you sad. But whatever the case is, you know, we just have to see the truth and not be an illusion about it. If people have a situation going on in their own life and family that they need to deal with, okay, let's not get in our ego about it. Let's see the truth that, yeah, I'm sad that they're not working with me right now, but I'm not going to stay in these energies, you know. Again, from the 4 to the 10, I'm going to stay balanced within myself and not tip out of balance. You know, again, we have our dualistic nature. And if we tip into, you know, the fear and the insecurity and getting all up in our head about it and in our ego about it, you know, it's not going to do us any good. So we maintain our balance and choose to be happy. And, you know, though it made me sad, I'm going to take that cup of love to maintain balance and move forward in my life and love myself and the people in my life that are willing to work with me right now and in my life, and focus on those people. And if there's some people that have an issue or they're prideful or they're egotistical or whatever, and that's not their idea of happiness, okay. Because some people who harness a more shadowy Capricorn energy are more aligned with their worldly nature, and they think that's just and fair in their Libra energy. They don't have to be a Libra. But they could be very emotionally defensive with the Leo strength card here. They could be someone who's very afraid of being backstabbed, because the truth is other relationships haven't worked out, that maybe when they offered people love before it didn't work out, so they're just not going to work together. With the 10 of Swords, I'm not going to work together with people anymore. Or if I am going to work together with them, I don't want to work together with people who are offering me love. I'd rather work with people who are maybe fearful and afraid and codependent and, you know, maybe live more from their mind and their heart. And this seems logical and practical. We should get in a relationship. And they're like, hey, that seems just and fair. Because if this relationship doesn't work out, I don't have any skin in the game. So what's going on right here for the people harnessing some shadowy Capricorn energy? Well, for one thing, you know, shadowy Capricorn can be Again, either people who are very materialistically driven, and it is all about ego and image and money and materialism, and then other people, they could think that it's just and fair for them to, shadowy Leo can be, I want to be bossy and controlling and manipulative and I'm the boss, and because they could think, that then they won't get hurt again. If I stay in control of it, maybe a control freak, if I stay in control of everything, then I'll be safe. And really, they don't know. They just sabotage themselves and sabotage relationships. And that could have, for some of you, you might know people where that happened. And they don't want people to know that some people who saw the truth about them moved away from them. And those people aren't in their life anymore. And because they stubbornly operate from this foundation of thinking like, I'm the boss. If I say something's just and fair in this relationship, it's just and fair. Maybe like people should kind of bow down to me. I'm the law. I make the rules. People are not supposed to complete cycles in life, because the tens can talk about completing a cycle, in your own foundation to like add to your foundation and like grow and mature yourself. They maybe don't ever grow and mature themselves. They never complete cycles in their life. Like they get all up in their head, they get in their fear, they get in their insecurity, or they get in their ego, and they keep not listening to their intuition to move forward in life differently. They keep like, I know, I have an idea. Because what do we do when something happens in our life that was painful? Do we offer love to the situation? Okay, I wanted a just and fair relationship. Maybe some people wanted a just and fair relationship in a foundation with a Leo, and the Leo backstabbed them. Someone who they thought would never backstab them. Well, they had the free will choice at that time to love themselves. Why would someone who I thought would be just and fair and high vibe, they could have viewed them as a high vibe, someone who harnessed high vibe Leo. They don't have to be a Leo sun sign, but they could have thought they were someone who harnessed high vibe Leo energy, which Leo energy is kind of like divine energy or mother energy. It's like warm and encouraging and supportive and authentic. And they could have known people they worked with that they thought would be like that, and they weren't. Well, if you have people like in a core foundation who live more from their mind and their heart, who never grew and matured themselves, who maybe could have been emotionally manipulative and controlling, it can be pretty hard to overcome that. But if they did want to, it would be to offer love to the situation. Why do people act like that? Why have we ever acted the way we've acted? Probably because of the way we grew up and the way we were taught how things are supposed to be in relationships and how we thought, or who knows. You just got to accept the truth that some people maybe weren't very loving, and see the truth that, people would act loving if they didn't probably have some issues from their past that caused them pain and heartbreak. People probably are not loving because of fear or vulnerability. And why? Probably because other people they feel ignored their love or betrayed them or backstabbed them, and they're not getting out of it. And if we don't want to be one of the people in shadowy Capricorn energy repeating the same pattern, we need to break the cycle and say, you know what? I'm not going to stay defensive to growing and maturing myself. I'm not going to give up on my dreams because someone backstabbed and betrayed me. I'm going to offer love to the situation and compassion. People are where they're at. I accept that. It probably had, the Six of Cups can talk about childhood and how they were brought up and stuff like that. And the difference between people who move on and the people who don't, and what they don't know about you and they maybe don't understand about you is that you're willing to take creative, inspired, intuitive action from a place of love to get out of your ego about it. Get out of your own inner conflict about it. Get out of, well, why didn't they love me? And, like kind of taking it personally. It's like, if people wanted to be just and fair and loving, they would have been. It doesn't have anything to do with you. If you know you were loving and you were trying to work with people cooperatively and you were trying to move things forward and, speaking the truth and dealing with your own issues so that you weren't acting out of pettiness and jealousy and envy and whatever, some people can't move forward with you just because they haven't seen the truth that they have issues from their past to deal with. And until they do that, they're going to keep repeating these type of relationships till it keeps backstabbing them over and over and over, where it's like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I have got to learn to love myself. I have to quit looking outside myself, working together with other people for them to love me. I have to love me. I have to quit being codependent, get out of my ego and my fear and my insecurity, and take some creative, inspired action to deal with my own regrets of the past and relationships of the past that didn't work out the way I wish they would have. To take that cup of love and choose to align with love and hope and faith and belief. And then I don't have to look to other people to, it's kind of like looking for someone else to be your mother in a way, that relationship, there was things in it that didn't work out, or your father or whatever. I'm looking, the whole thing is we were all kids once and it all had its time and its place, but we're not kids anymore. We were supposed to learn, hopefully from those relationships or just through life, to love ourselves and be our own best mother, father, coach voice in our own head. So we're not looking outside of ourselves for other people. Will you love me? Will you love me? Will you make me feel better? We have to do the work within ourselves if we want to have true victory in our life. And the truth is, we have to deal with our regrets of the past. We can either focus on the past, but there's 2 cups right here. And we can offer ourselves one of those cups of love to choose that I'm not going to give up on my dreams. I accept that some people were bossy or controlling or fearful or insecure or prideful or egotistical. They didn't see the truth. Probably because they hadn't dealt with their own issues from the past. I accept that. And I'm going to choose to be happy. And some of these people in the world who aren't doing that yet, they don't probably know how you're able to do this because they've never done this. They might be people who don't ever take creative, inspired action in their life. They might not be people who listen to their intuition. We either listen to our intuition that tells us, I need to deal with my regrets of the past. And I think there's a lot of people in the world that would rather do anything than self-reflect. Did relationships not work out in the past because I was immature? I was impulsive and reckless. I was self-centered. I was bossy and controlling. Some people don't want to see the truth about people in their life that they loved. Maybe in their family. Oh no, they were perfect. I could not possibly see the truth that they were a fallible human being, and that for some reason in that relationship dynamic, it has made me afraid of working together with other people and not trust people. But those people were perfect. Again, it could be people that have a hard time dealing with duality in the world. It's either good or it's bad. But, we've all had lessons to learn in life. It's part of learning about our shadow nature. And some people kind of get it so pounded in themselves that you're supposed to make your life all about them, and you are never to detach from that foundation. This is like the just and fair and perfect foundation. And some people have been so indoctrinated in it, it's like they're hypnotized. You are right. This is the most perfect epitome of proper relationship. I will never learn to love myself. I will never see the truth that I was sad about this relationship. And there were times where I felt like people were ignoring my love, but we presented ourselves as a loving, happy family in the world, and that is what we will defend. Some people need to detach from a foundation and be more independent, and they're unwilling to do that. What were these again? The other thing that they hide from people and don't want people to know is that they could be emotionally defensive to moving forward in life. You know, some people can be tipped more into their egoic or emotionally defensive or worldly materialistic nature. And they kind of juggle back and forth, like trying to present to the world that they're just and fair. And, you know, they're not prideful, they're not egotistical, but they are. They just don't want people to know that their truth moving forward is they're done juggling. Love isn't what they're aligned with. Listening to their intuition is not what they're going to listen to. Their truth is life is about moving forward with your worldly foundation. Whatever the world tells you life is supposed to be about. And Queen of Swords is Aquarius energy. It doesn't matter if they're male or female. The queens can talk about our emotional state. Their emotional truth is life is about looking like a shining star in the world. You work together with people to look like you're moving forward, that you're this just and fair and successful person in the world, and you never detach from that worldly view of life. It's not about love. It's not about reconciling yourself with the past. It's not dealing with your past pain and heartbreak. It's about looking like you are this victorious, successful, shining star in the world. That's the most important thing. But they try to probably get in relationships with people and they don't tell them that truth. And then people get in a relationship with them thinking it's going to be just and fair and balanced, that they're going to treat them the way they treat them, that it's going to be based on truth and love and character and integrity. And they're being strong in the relationship. And, you know, they want, normally people complete cycles and they're ready to go to the next cycle of a relationship. Like, you know, and they're like, no, none of us detach from this way of living life. This is the just and fair way to live your life. And eventually people realize, like, my dream isn't going to come into reality. This person has a way of viewing life, and this is it, and it stays right there. Nothing changes. They love the past. They want to keep repeating these patterns. They do not want to take bold, brave, creative action in their life to move forward in truth and love, because that would require them to see the truth about why they don't move forward in truth and love, because they have regrets about the past that they haven't dealt with. So, now if you're dealing with some shadowy people who don't empower themselves by dealing with their own inner issues to feel a sense of empowerment within themselves, then sometimes for people to feel powerful, they want to try to feel powerful by how they impact other people's lives, like backstabbing people. Oh, that's going to confuse them. They're going to be sad. Oh, I feel so powerful. If someone wanted them to not keep repeating these patterns of the past, to let go of that old way of viewing life, to work together with them in a deep emotional connection, you know, exploring the, Six of Cups and high vibe, well, Scorpio energy. And in high vibe, it's about people who want to be in deep, meaningful relationships. They might be used to being in relationships with people who live more from their mind than their heart, who operate more from ego. And it's not about having deep, authentic, meaningful relationships. That would require them to get out of their ego and take some creative, inspired action in truth and love. And they don't want to do that. And if you decided I can love you, but I can't keep living my life like this. You keep repeating a pattern over and over and over, and it never moves forward. And I see the truth that if I keep moving forward with you, because you won't detach from the past and reconcile yourself with the past to move forward and choose love, I can't stay in this relationship. I'm just going to end up in regret. Well, if you ended a relationship with someone like that, they could definitely feel betrayed that you didn't want to move forward with them in the way they view life. You know, and the whole thing is we all have these views of life and what it means to be in a relationship. And, you know, I guess we should talk about that more when we get in relationships, right? But we tend to assume that people view life like we view it, and that they, you know, and then we realize that people have their own ideas of how they view relationships and what they think is just and fair. And that can be completely different from what you think is just and fair. Shadowy Capricorn energy is maybe people who don't want to put in work and effort. That can be, I don't want to put in work and effort. You're the loving person. You're supposed to be the loving person. And I guess maybe, I don't know what they'll do, you know. They're going to keep moving forward, maybe focusing more on the world, maybe the money or the status or whatever, but you're like supposed to be the loving person. That would be kind of like a more transactional relationship. You be the loving person, I'll put in the work and effort for whatever, and then we're both supposed to be happy because we got what we wanted, but you were really wanting a loving relationship, and they thought, isn't this how people view relationships? Isn't it kind of transactional? I give you this, you give me that, we're good. And you're like, no, I'm going to miss out on a deep emotional relationship if I keep staying in a relationship with you. So both people could have felt betrayed. Both people could have felt left out in the cold. If they wanted to be in a relationship with people who operate more from pride and ego and keeping up with the Joneses and making your life all about that and appearances and presentation, and you weren't like that, it's just like, why are you like that? Why are you different? You know, basically it's kind of like you weren't imprisoned and enslaved, because shadowy Capricorn is represented by the devil. You weren't imprisoned and enslaved by the same things that they're kind of imprisoned and enslaved to. What they think is just and fair versus what you think is just and fair is different. They could have felt betrayed that you kind of weren't going back and forth anymore. You don't backstab your own foundation. You learn to love yourself. Because that's what anytime we get in relationships with people too, are we putting in work and effort to deal with our past pain and heartbreak so we don't keep dragging it around? You did. Well, they could have felt betrayed that you dealt with some of your past pain and heartbreak because they weren't going to do any of that. And then you were able to move forward in life and get the justice you deserve and temper your fears, your insecurities, and your pride and ego, and put an end to an old foundation because you'd learned how to love yourself and be more balanced within yourself and not be in your ego and your insecurity and past pain and heartbreak. And they felt betrayed because you did that work. So they could have thought it was just and fair to backstab you because you weren't on the same page as them anymore. I don't know, it's hard to understand, right? But the whole thing is, I guess, everybody has their own dreams of how they view, how they want to work together with people. Some people think it's just and fair to be in relationships because of the pride, the ego, the image. Nobody's supposed to grow and mature themselves. Nobody's supposed to detach from the old way of being. Nobody's supposed to venture out of the comfort zone. Everybody's supposed to do things the way that they've always done things. That's what they think is just and fair. Again, they could have grown up with people who discouraged them from listening to their intuition and loving themselves and listening to their own intuition and living their own authentic life. Well, if they bought into that indoctrination that's still all up in their head, the fact that you freed yourself from it and you don't have all that shit going on in your head, you're free. Because high vibe Capricorn is about putting in work and effort to free yourself from the past, your ego, your shadowy nature, your immature, indulgent nature, to grow and mature yourself. And they could not like that you did something that they're not willing to do. And they might think people should not listen to their intuition. People shouldn't get out of their ego. The truth is, life is about relationships don't work out. It's all about being happy in the world and in your ego, because who can trust love anyway? And you're like, oh well. You also might have someone from your past that you might want to reunite with. But if that relationship doesn't seem to be moving forward, you're seeing the truth of that too. It's like, the more you go through these life experiences with different people, I just have to accept the truth that people are where they're at. I can be sad. I wish there would be maybe some people, or just a Scorpio, or someone you think you could have a deep, meaningful relationship with. But, they could be in their own situations or whatever. It's like, I see the truth, okay? I'm going to offer love to the situation to deal with that. I'm sad that relationship maybe couldn't come back together again. I'm going to offer me that cup of love to keep moving forward and believe that the divine has another plan for me. And the people who that are shadowy, they're going to continue to hide that they might be emotionally defensive to moving forward. They think it's just and fair for them to operate from their ego, and maybe even backstab people they get in a relationship with. So those people will be in their ego, in their fear, in their codependency, and they will look to this person as like, oh my gosh, you're like my God or something. How could I possibly live without you? And that could be their dream relationship. So there you go, Capricorn. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.